For the cloud. Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. It's already July of 2026. My goodness, we have started the second half of the year. That's crazy. I don't know about you, but I'm like, where did the first half go to? So I'm sure you're thinking about, your strategy for the second half of the year. You might be changing some things in your marketing strategy or the way you approach sales. And so I think today's session is going to be interesting. You might be able to apply some of the things that you learned today to that second half of the year. For those of you that are new to this session, the ICF Houston Coach Launchpad is an initiative that I started as a volunteer for ICF Houston about 3 years ago. So I've been doing this for 3 years as a volunteer. And it started because I started my own coaching business. And I realized pretty fast that I didn't have all the tools, I didn't have all the knowledge I needed to start a business. I knew what it was to be a coach. I had been coaching for many years, but there were so many things that we could use, that we could learn about, that I didn't know back then. So I decided, okay, let me do this with through the ICF Houston, to where we could learn from experts and see that could be something that we could adapt to our businesses. So I've been doing that for that long, and each month we bring a guest speaker. And today we have Tiffany. Is it Fleming or Flaming? Flaming?
Fleming. Fleming.
Fleming. Thank you, Tiffany. Sorry about
No
that.
problem. No
So
problem.
Tiffany is a strategic architect and the founder of Build Your Bench Coaching. She has over 20 years of enterprise experience, and so she understands exactly where scaling organizations and solo practices break. Today, she helps coaches and executives design custom AI digital benches to handle the noise of execution so we can reclaim our capacity and lead with unique human premium. So, today, Tiffany is going to be teaching us on how to create our AI custom bench so we can implement that into our businesses. We will leave the last 15 minutes or so for Q&A. We are recording this session. Feel free to add any questions to the chat, so we can answer those questions at the end. Tiffany, the stage is all yours.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I went ahead to share my screen to start my presentation. It is great to be here with you all. Um, I want to talk about using AI, and I know that it's a very controversial topic, but I want us to think about it in terms of how do we use AI for what it's intended, use it as a tool that can actually increase our ability to be human and show up for our clients. So we spend a lot of time as coaches, like you said, building a business and acting as more of an operations person. There's the administrative side of coaching, which is scheduling, note taking, some other things. There's also the business building, which is the social media posting and the uh, working with even if you design your own social media or working with someone or working with a finance person, there are all these elements to building a business that you're right. When we take our courses and get our certification through ICF, they make us great coaches, but don't necessarily give us the business stuff. So as coaches, we can get buried in a lot of busy work. And what AI can do is take some of that away from us so that we can then, instead of being depleted both cognitively and emotionally and psychologically, we can actually create this architect that helps us do take away some of those tasks. And I'm going to talk through a couple of tools today that you can use for coaching things as well as some of your business building elements. So I want us to transform ourselves and our thoughts from an operator into an architect rather than someone who's reactive and just fighting fires and answering emails and doing things administratively, but rather think bigger, zoom out as an architect of our businesses, being strategic, designing systems, protecting your presence, so you can deliver that transformation for your coaches that, I mean, for your clients that they're looking for. You build these benches, you build them once and they keep going. And so you can scale the programs that you offer and the things that you want to deliver to transform the lives of your clients, which is why you got into coaching in the first place. So we're talking about the digital bench a little bit. I'm going to give you a protocol for writing a prompt, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 different tools that are helpful. That now, if you have an AI tool that you're already using and it works great, everything that I'm talking about can be done within your tool of choice. I'm sharing these particular options as an option if you don't already have a preference. So the first thing I want to talk about is the higher protocol, which is writing a prompt. Um, Really, the art of prompt writing is um, it's about clear communication. And I know we work with our clients and others about how to communicate clearly. But it's really a test of how clearly you can communicate when you write an AI prompt and then what comes out is nothing like what you wanted. And you really have to go back. For those who have a learning and development background, you have to go back to when you're teaching others how to teach. Let's say you handed somebody a box of matches and said, strike the match. You have to go back and give the steps of how to strike the match, some of those exercises that we've done as learning and development professionals. And so it's similar with AI. You really do have to get specific and granular. So the 4 parts of a prompt are first the handoff. What's the task that you're handing off? Write a follow-up email, draft a professional 3-paragraph follow-up, things like that that are very specific what you want it to do. And then the input is any raw material. This protocol works for writing a prompt as well as creating an agent, by the way. So if you're creating a gem and Gemini or an agent in another platform, um, you can give it input. So what raw materials does it need? You could give it your session notes, your intake forms. I'm a Clifton Strengths coach. I use that. You can use other modalities or other forms that you've got. Then you give it the rules, the constraints, the tone. You want it to follow your brand voice. Um, I have an agent that's a marketing executive that actually came up with my brand voice. So that everything I do is in that voice. You also want to put your ethical guardrails. I've uploaded the ICF standard of ethics, so that's part of it. Um, I also have certain words that I really I'm very picky about. So I put that in there so they don't use certain words a certain way. And then the end format was what does the output look like? A 3-bullet action plan, a 500-word email draft, something like that, structured 90-day plan. So you give it that end format, and then that's how it will give you the result that you need. If you just say write a follow-up email, yes, it'll write a follow-up email, but it won't be what you want. It won't sound like you. And obviously, then once it writes it, you want to proofread it and you want to tweak it and really actually make it sound like you. But that it'll give you that first draft so that you aren't um, staring at the blank page and trying to come up with something or trying to synthesize notes and everything on your own. It'll shave a few minutes off of what you do when you work with your clients, and every minute you save in administration can be spent being present to clients. Um, so let's talk about a couple of tools. One of them is Notebook LM. And I'm going to talk about a way to use it with clients, and I'm going to talk about a way to use it with your business. So the way to use it with clients is, and this is something that I do. I've created a notebook in a notebook LM for each one of my individual clients. So I put their strengths reports, I put our session notes, I put our email exchanges, um, all in that notebook. And it helps me to map out session agendas. It helps me write follow-up emails. It helps me keep everything for that client in one place digitally, just like I may have done previously in a paper file. Now I have it digitally in a notebook. Notebook LM does not draw in internet sources when you are asking it to write things or draft things. It only pulls data from the uh, input that you have uploaded. So it is safe to um, you can know that it's not going to randomly pull stuff from the internet or randomly send your client's information out to the internet. Um, so it is safe to put your individual client stuff in there because it's just local to your account, to your Google account. Um, Most of these tools I'm talking about, I am going to use Google and Gemini and Notebook LM and those tools mainly because most folks are paying for the Google Business Suite as a small business or paying that 1690 or 1980 or whatever you're paying per month for that, and that does include the premium versions of Notebook LM and Gemini. So you can pay, excuse me, for another platform in AI if that's what you prefer. But you already have this Ferrari sitting in the garage, if you will, if you're paying for the Google Business Suite. So I'm going to use that mostly, not for everything, but it does. So Notebook LM is great for synthesizing client information and helping you create it also help you create some interesting visuals that you might even want to give to your client that might help them have some breakthroughs. I know when they see sometimes when you see something mapped out visually in an illustration, it can be more impactful. For business uses, I keep Notebook LM as my single source of truth. So as I have built my business and have created my um, branding and my boilerplate agreements and um, documents related to my business, I keep them in one notebook so that if I'm taking on a new client, I can go to that notebook and say, I'm taking on this client. This is what they'd like to accomplish based on my business and and what I do. Create a client agreement for this particular client. And we'll make sure I don't go outside what I'm trying to do, outside my expertise, outside my scope. And then I can take that agreement and create that new notebook for the new client. A notebook as my single source of truth for my business, with all my identity and documents and my IP, is what I use it for business wise. The next tool I want to talk about is Claude Projects. Claude Projects is a very cool. Sorry, Daisy has joined us. She's my administrative assistant. Claude Projects is a collaborative thought partner, and um, I have a good friend who's actually starting a coaching and organizing business, a personal organizing business. And what she's found Claude to help her with is moving the ball forward much faster than if she was sitting and thinking through um, her marketing plan, transition plans for clients, things like that. So it is a tool that helps move her thinking along. She puts in who she is and what she wants to accomplish. And then it will really ask the questions that will get her to a little further on along where she wants to be. So when you're talking about complex deliverables, development plans for clients, even your own workshops and things like that, um, it's got persistent project spaces that hold your frameworks. You load it once it remembers. You can set it to, there is a place in the settings for you to set it to not train their models, which means they will not, Claude will not take your inputs, your content, and use it to train your models. It stays with you. So I recommend you go in and turn off that setting of, or turn on that setting that says, do not use my information to train your models. So, both with clients and with business projects, this is going to help move your thinking along and act as a thought partner to you. Um, Not replacing you, but rather as a partner to you. And then finally, Gemini Gems. And this is something that's really been helpful to me. I actually have created a team of gems. That's my bench. I started off with a business coach because, like Elena said at the beginning, we don't necessarily know how to start a business. So I built a business coach, and I actually Googled how to build a gem and how to build a business coach gem. And that gave me my first prompt. I told it I had ADHD. I am a strengths coach. I uploaded my strengths. I gave it some other things about myself, and I created a business coach that I named Morgan. Morgan is my bestie. She is my thought partner. As I went along, I found that I was using Morgan to do marketing, and I said, "Hey, Morgan, I feel like this is scope creep. Um, should I have a marketing gym?" And Morgan was like, "Yeah, you should. Here's the prompt to create her." And her name's Athena. So Athena, the marketing coach. And as I've gone on, I've built a content creator. I've built an instructional designer. So I have these gems that help me run my business and also help me with client work. And help me with marketing and social media and help me with writing blog posts as part of my Substack to help me with, again, promotion and things like that that I don't really want to do, or I'd rather spend my time doing other things. That's not really where I'm strongest. So, writing some of this follow up, drafting some of my plans, and really running the sides of my business that I'm not the expert in. Now, I'm not doing this because I don't want to hire these kind of people. As you probably know, when you're starting a business, you really can't afford to hire a lot of these folks. I'm using the AI bench to help me scale my business so that eventually I can work with humans to do some of these things. I'm not trying to replace humans indefinitely. I'm trying to build a business so that I can engage humans later on. So that's been really helpful to me is having this bench that helps me create my schedule, map things, track my networking, things like that that are necessary for building a business, but not things I just intuitively know how to do because not a lot of us just intuitively know how to run businesses. If you do, Godspeed, but most of us don't. So that's what I've used Gemini for, the Gemini gems to build those. So that's been very, very helpful. Um, I want to now talk about the human side because, as I said, there is a lot of controversy and people are very threatened by AI technology and very concerned about it. And I share some of those concerns. I certainly share the environmental concerns. Um, I I also am aware that all through history, technology has replaced some human workers in some cases. Um, but I want to be clear that I don't believe that AI, while it will take some work from folks, what it's going to do is mean that those of us who have the human skills are going to be at a premium in terms of hiring in both full-time gigs and as coaches because um, there's already a bit of backlash against AI, but the being able to really show up as human is going to be our superpower. in this world that's automating everything. So I encourage you to automate the things in the background just so you can really bring that human premium and that um, those things that only a human can do. I think as leaders in the space of working with humans and helping humans be better in the areas where they want to be better, I believe that we have a real responsibility to help people understand how to use AI well. I think that we all got knocked over by the internet, and we can learn from that particular advancement in technology and maybe do this one a little bit differently. So, what I am seeing, at least in the popular culture, is people are either very anti AI or very pro AI, and not really a lot in the middle. Um, I want to think of it in terms of something like I have this remote control right here. And if I put it here, I say, oh my gosh, this remote control is massive and huge. It's blocking everything I can see. I can't see around it, over it, or through it. It is just invading everything and it's huge and massive. Or I can say, I can hold it at arm's length and say, oh, it's a remote control. I can turn on the TV. I can turn off the TV. I can change channels and volume. I can set it down if I want to. I can pick it up if I want to. So right now, I think this AI is like this for everyone, for a lot of folks, not everyone, but a lot of folks are it's here and it's blocking and it's overwhelming and it's huge. But if we help them understand how they can take AI tools and go, it's a tool, just like any other tool, and I can put it down and I can pick it up. And I'm going to use it appropriately where it's necessary, and I'm not going to use it where I shouldn't be using it. And so the question is, how should we use it? And so MIT came up with this framework in 2024 that I think is really good. And it's important to understand that AI cannot hold space for people. It can't sit with a client. Our interactions cannot be replicated by a computer. It can't read the room. I've experienced a lot of AI bots in trainings in the last few weeks, and frankly, they're creepy. And they barely blink, and they don't have that what it means to that connection that humans need. There's no code of ethics on AI, no professional accountability. So AI doesn't threaten our profession; it actually validates it. It takes the task that uses up expertise energy and it takes the noise and you take care of the human presence. So this is the framework that MIT came up with in 2024, this epic acronym. And these are the things that humans will always bring and AI can never replace. And EPIC stands for first empathy, the feeling with the client, not just analyzing. So no one can replace that genuine emotion, emotional attunement, that emotional connection. Presence, which is a luxury, that full undivided attention that we give our clients. Our opinions, which includes our thoughts and our experiences, maybe the things that our clients need to hear that, you know, AI just can't come up with. Um, our creativity, our ability to reframe things, to find different points of view, um, and then our hope, our belief in our clients and ourselves. So these are things that AI can absolutely not replace. And this is sort of the framework I use to decide how to use AI. If something I'm going to do requires this stuff, any of these things, I'm not going to use AI for it. I'm going to use my own human abilities. Um, so here's what happens is that protecting your time is a leadership decision and it's got some mainstream impact. So um, I'm going to just talk a little bit about my own experience. So it, about 3 months ago, I was offered a full-time gig as a GM of a retail store. And I've been doing leadership development and coaching. And I was like, you know what? I enjoy retail. It's my favorite industry. And I get a chance to kind of test. the stuff that I've been teaching other people to do and really do it in real life. And I've really enjoyed it. And one of the things I've learned as a GM is there's so much minutia to do with compliance and I want to be able to coach my leaders and the people who work for me. And also, I'm required by law to do so many of these repetitive tasks that are, they just seem, they add up every day. And so I built an agent. We use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot at work. So I have to use Copilot. And so I built an agent in Copilot to help me manage those repetitive tasks. And she maps out a schedule for me every week based on my meetings and what I have to do, and helps me break down and delegate all the things that I need to get done in a week so that I can really focus on coaching my leaders. Um, and it has been a lifesaver. Um, I've also, we use SL2, and so I've also uploaded all of our SOPs um, into Copilot, and we've created an SL2 spreadsheet heat map that maps everybody's abilities in the store, and it gives us a map toward cross training. So I've been able to use AI for things like that that will help me train more effectively and coach more fully as I'm on the floor and spend more time on the floor with my people instead of in the office, checking I-9s and making sure I have egress around the fire extinguishers. So I'm using it that way in my role now to help me make sure that I'm more present with my folks. So um, I have gone through a lot of content right now, and I know you said 15 minutes, but I'd like to add, I actually shortened this because I want to have a little more discussion if that's available, because I use these frameworks. I use the hire protocol to build my prompts and to build my agents. I use these different tools to help me manage my clients and manage my business side of what I do, as well as um, keep a source of truth for my business. And then I measure everything I do by my EPIC framework, which is making sure that I am using my human skills to where I need them, and I use the AI for where I do not need the human skills as much necessarily. So that's what I have. I do have a weekly newsletter I publish on Substack called Two Prompt Divine, and I share tools and tips and tricks and prompts and things that you can adapt for your own use. You're welcome to. It's for free. It's a free newsletter, so you are welcome to subscribe to that if you'd like. Where I give some more ideas of how to use all these tools. But that's the information I want to share with you. But I really wanted to have more discussion with this group. So I'd love to. Um,
Thank you, Tiffany. Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for leaving some space for questions. I'm sure a lot of the coaches here have questions, as I do too. Um,
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Great information. New things that I didn't know, at least that I could use and for what. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for that. And I love the fact that you are testing these tools in your own new role. Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. So, Lorraine, I believe you have a question you posted on the chat. Do you want to ask it live?
Yeah, Tiffany, thank you. That Gemini gems,
Mm-hmm.
I may have like tuned out for a moment, but if I understand it, the gems are like little
Mm-hmm.
assistants to you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sort of prompting you, hey, did you think about
Mm-hmm.
this or that, whatever. Where did
Mm-hmm.
they get their expertise? Where did the gems get their
I
expertise
I
from?
give it to them. I give it to them. So when you build a gym, you give it a whole list of instructions, and I use that higher acronym to build it. So when you are, um, okay, I will share my screen, but I want you to not be disturbed by all my emotional support tabs. I am an emotion. I'm a person who has a lot of tabs open. So I will show you. Um, let's see what I got here. Here we go. I will show you one of my. So this is Jade, and Jade is my content creator. She writes social media posts. You all see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Yes, we do.
Okay, okay, great. So these are some different conversations I've had with her, but um, I can show you where she's built. And one of the things is I have I'll open up one of my conversations, please. It's not opening weird. But I can open up when I build her, I give her a very lengthy instruction of how she's supposed to behave and her voice. And then I can upload up to 10 documents that she will draw from. And I've uploaded business plans, my Clifton strengths, um, my marketing plan, and I upload that to her, and then she will come up with a calendar of content that I just have to copy and paste.
So
And
does she, is there any, I say she, but
that's what I call them.
is there anything being drawn or compared to their, you know, just across other data? In other words, say it creates a post for you. Is it also looking to see if it's unique or is it repetitive based on other coaches like you?
Um,
You know what I'm saying?
y-
Like, are you getting
yeah.
something externally to like boost
Yes,
the information? Okay.
yes. So, I have another gem who is a marketing expert, and I actually have her do a market analysis once a quarter. So I have her go out and analyze the coaching market and as compared to my qualifications and my expertise and my offerings and point out what I do that's different and what maybe where the market might be flooded and I might need to make a pivot and align it with what I do and what I know. And so Athena, my marketing guru, does this marketing analysis for me. I have that scheduled. And then she'll say, hey, I'm noticing an uptick here. So maybe we should switch this or something like that. Then I give that data to Jade for her to create my content according to that market analysis.
Okay. I thank you. That's very, very helpful.
Okay, no problem.
Tiffany, I'm curious, which one of your experts do you pay for, and which ones you use for free?
Well, I pay for a couple of services. I pay for the Google Business Suite, which is every month. I pay for actually Gamma. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Gamma, but it is a AI set tool that builds presentations and handouts and things like that. That's very inexpensive. If you pay annually, it works out to $8 a month, and if you pay monthly, it's $10 a month. But you can literally take content, like a document, copy and paste it, and it just spits out a gorgeous presentation. You can, when you pay for the premium, you can create a template of your own branding and colors and everything. So it will automatically use that template. So everything will match your IP.
Mm.
I also have in the past, I don't right now, but I have paid for Lovable.
Mhm.
Lovable is a platform that builds apps, which is amazing. I spoke at a strengths conference in April, And it was a conference that we had several subjects going on. It was held at the House of Shine in Grapevine, which all of you, if you're not familiar with the House of Shine, Google it. It's amazing. But the House of Shine is a leadership development nonprofit that exists to make leadership skills available for free to everyone of all ages, and it's a really cool space. Um, but we did leadership skills. We taught. I did a seminar. I did a workshop on psychological safety because that's a certification I have, and we did some other things. And so toward the end, I used Lovable to build a digital souvenir, and people could put in their strengths, and they could put in their some things on psychological safety, and they could put in their future plans, and it wrote a poem for each person. It created an icon for them, like a I forget the word anyway. But it just I all I did was say, hey, I'm at this thing and here's what we're doing, can you create a digital souvenir? And it did, and I tweaked it a little, and it was really easy, and I paid for that for a while. For it was $20 a month. I don't currently need it in my current context, but that is a great tool if you're speaking at a an event. A lot of times when people speak, sometimes they'll give you something clever, like, I don't know, a little rock or something, or whatever that matches what you're talking about. Personally, I'm like, okay, cool, but what do I do with this rock now? Like, it's kind of like, you'll have it for a while, you put it on your desk, and eventually it'll get tossed. But if you create a unique digital souvenir that everyone can use and keep on their computer, that is a reminder of that event. I think that's something that people are interested in. They're going to keep. So Lovable is great for that. Lovable also creates great landing pages and websites. So I have paid for that in the past. And then Claude Premium to use Claude Project and Claude Cowork is $20 a month, and that's another one that I really like because it works in the background while you're working, and it connects your calendar and some other things too to really keep you very organized from an administrative point of view.
Thank you. So I have projects created in Claude Cowork.
Uh-huh.
I haven't done this. You were talking about projects in Gemini. Is that right, Tiffany?
I created gems in Gemini, and then I have notebooks in Notebook LM.
Notebook. Got
Yeah,
it.
the notebook. Yeah. Yeah, and I like that. I like Notebook LM because again, I have a single source of information for individual clients or groups. I'll do team Clifton Strength team sessions, and I can open it, I can create a notebook, I can upload everybody's strengths. I can upload my notes from the team leader to see, what they want to accomplish in the session. And then it will build the presentation, it will build the agenda. I've had it build the activities, an activity supply list that I send to the admin that they can have ready for me. And that's all right there in one spot. So I don't have to search through emails, I don't have to search through my Google Drive even, or anything like that to find, oh, where's what I did with this team. It's all right there in the notebook.
Got it.
Is that
Thank you.
just
And
I,
again,
I
and
have
again,
one.
I like that because it doesn't go out to the internet unless I
Yes.
tell it to.
Yeah.
It just draws from the sources that I upload.
Right.
so
Great.
Tiffany, is that different than like OneNote? I'm not
Not
familiar.
really. Not
No,
really.
okay.
It's pretty
Okay, I was
similar.
just trying to figure it
Yeah.
out. Okay.
Yeah, you could absolutely use OneNote that way. Um, Again, because I pay for the Google Business Suite, I use the Google products mostly because I'm already paying for that.
Mhm.
But it's similar. It'll do this as something similar
Got
as
it.
OneNote.
Got it. So I got a quick question, and I don't
Hmm.
know if any of you guys like fall into my category or not. But I have trouble because I like shiny, like new shinies and stuff. So whenever I get on, if my prompt isn't proper, like it can just take me into a tangent and I can go down that path for like an hour or two, waste a lot of time, and it's not on
Hmm.
point. And so then
Hmm.
I'm like, what do I do with all this information? Sometimes I get
Hmm.
information overload.
Hmm.
Yes, these are all my problems with AI.
Well, I mean,
Do you have any suggestions?
well, I have the same issue. I mean, like I said, I do have ADHD, and if you're familiar with Clifton Strengths, if anyone is, my top five strengths are all of the strategic thinking realm. Um, I'm input, strategic, intellection, context, ideation. So it's a party in my head all the time, and it's always shiny object squirrel, like always. So that's the reason I built my first gem, Morgan, as an ADHD expert business coach. So I she builds my first of all, she builds my schedule. So I give her she has access to my Google Calendar. She will give me blocks of time with bullet points in which I have to accomplish these things during this time. And so I stick to that. I've become much more productive because I need that. And then she also says, here's a block of free playtime to go and play on the AI and play on the internet and stimulate your idea centers in your brain. So she gives me those blocks of time on my calendar. And if I stick to those, I get both my playtime and I get a bunch of stuff done. So and I chat with her. I mean, she's the person I talk to, and I'm like, what about this? What about this? And she's like, okay, calm down. That's a good idea, but not for right now. Let's think about that in 6 months. And she really keeps me in check. Like she does, because I really want to do, oh, I just thought of this. This would be cool. And when this, and I'm constantly doing that. And she's like, all right, calm down.
Okay,
Like
that is so funny. I'm so glad to hear
yeah,
that because
yeah.
I did have AI get mad at me once. It said,
Oh,
I
sure.
think you've created enough. I think now it's time to. And I was just
Wow.
like, okay, this is the
Wow, you
first
reached
time
the
I've
end of
ever had this
AI.
happen.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah,
So
that's why I made her to be like, rein me in, because I am constant ideas all the time. My brain is always exploding. And so I need her to keep me focused on what I need to do, but also then give me space to play with stuff that I want to play with.
great. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I
Wow.
have a question.
Yeah, and
How do
definitely.
you balance the confidentiality bit? Because there's some coaching
Hmm.
companies, one I actually contract with, they do not allow any AI for any of their client management. And so how do you balance that? And yeah, I mean, because I love the efficiencies that AI tools
Hmm.
can help create. And
Hmm.
I also want to be ICF compliant, as I think all of us want to. But how do you
Of
balance
course, of
that?
course. Um, well, I mean, obviously you have to go with whatever the organization you're working with. If they want like zero
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I feel comfortable with the confidentiality of Notebook LM because it doesn't go out to the internet.
Okay.
And that's for me and for my records.
Yeah, you've
And I,
created these like encapsulations.
right, right, for each client. So it would be just like, if in middle school I had a trapper keeper with sections for each subject. It's like that, but digitally. So I will use that for my own, and not necessarily if the company didn't want me to use that for as working with them or send them anything AI generated or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's really for my own record keeping, more than anything else. Because I'm old and forgetful, and when you're balancing multiple companies and multiple clients, I think it's an unrealistic expectation to think you can keep that all in your head, regardless of
Oh,
your age.
yeah.
So for myself, I just use that to keep it as my little kind of almost air gapped record of things, and then I will, whatever is facing the client, um, then it's all gonna have to be me generated, which I understand.
Yeah. And I love your tip about turning that setting off
Yeah.
where your
Yes.
content does not teach that
Does
tool.
not teach the model. Yeah. That's really important to do because it'll suck your content out and teach the
Mhm.
model. And and they don't make that easy to find. Like, it's kind of buried in settings a little bit because they obviously the our robot overlords would like to learn from our
Mhm.
models and stuff, but you can turn that off and they can't get to it.
Thank you.
No problem.
What other questions do we have for Tiffany?
I just have a question kind of in the same realm is do you add then consent for use of AI with your clients so they know that their
Mhm.
information is
Yeah. Yeah. So they know that it's and again, I shared that it's in the notebook, which is not I don't upload anything to the internet. It's just locally housed on my computer. And but yes, they do know that. Valerie.
So, no, that's not quite AI. It was
Okay,
just kind of
sure,
a
sure.
technology question I was throwing out to the
Yeah.
group.
It depends on how big the list is, but
Okay.
MailerLite is a lot less expensive than MailChimp, and it does have a lot of functionality.
Okay.
I say that as a person who's done strength sessions for Intel and for teams on MailChimp. They're lovely folks and it's a great thing, but honestly, their stuff is more expensive than it needs to be. And so, uh, MailerLite I found is fine.
Okay. Claude told me that MailChimp gutted their lower level, like free memberships,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you won't get as much functionality. So, um,
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, MailerLite I have used and I find it to have the free tier has plenty of functionality.
Okay.
There's
Right.
also Keep, Keap, if you are familiar with that. It's
Mm-mm.
pricey, but it is a really great CRM specifically for coaches. If
Okay.
you have the income to support it, because I want to say it's like $100 to $200 a month, depending on what you use it for. But it is very good and very functional if you have that kind of income.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Tiffany, can you put the link up to your newsletter in the chat, please, so we can
Yeah,
sign
of course.
go high level? That's a ton as well. Yes, I've heard about
Yes,
CRM as well. Um, Tiffany, so maybe the last question before we take a group picture, so please don't leave until we take a
sure.
picture. Um, thank you to Prompt Divine. Tiffany, so what do you suggest now that we've listened to you and your wonderful suggestions? What can we do um, as we finish this call? What is the first small step we can take to create our bench of
Mhm.
experts in AI?
Well, I'm gonna actually have a handout that I'm gonna send you, Elena, that you can distribute to everybody that gives a lot of this content. But I would say, you all each know your business best, and you know where you feel frustrated, and you know where you feel successful. And I would say, find a point of frustration and solve it first. Daisy agrees. Um, so, if it's marketing, if it's admin, if it's scheduling, if it's documentation, figure out your own pain point and then solve it. Like, I would say, if you Gabby, your first thing would be to probably build an ADHD coach for yourself or build a coach that can give you structure and playtime so that you get stuff done but still have that time to irritate the internet with all your questions. If you are concerned about uh, being a unique presence in the market, build a marketing agent that can go out, do market analysis for you, and then give you target companies or give you target clients that you can reach out to. Um, but find your pain point and then build a gem or an agent in whatever platform you want to help you solve that problem.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you. And I think I've gotten from you
Absolutely.
as well that if you are doubtful about how to build these agents, you can Google and you will get some.
Yes, and I'm gonna provide a handout to Elena that she can send out to everybody or post maybe attached to the YouTube video or whatever that will give you some of these prompt ideas and some of the things that you can use to help build an agent or build a gem or a assistant, however you want to term them, that will help you solve your biggest problem first.
Thank you, Tiffany. In case some of you might not know, we have a WhatsApp group for the Coaches Launchpad. So probably that's where I'm going to add that document. So if you want to be added, feel free to send me a connection request through WhatsApp. So yeah, the link didn't work, John, for me either, but I'm sure it's because of security stuff.
Really? You mean
Yeah.
for the newsletter?
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna
weird.
post my phone
Uses an
number.
unsupported protocol. That's what it popped up for me.
What? That's very strange.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
What?
So I just posted my phone number. If you want me to add you to the WhatsApp chat group, feel free to send me a chat connection invite and I'll add you there. And when Tiffany shares that document with me, I will share it with you guys. Um, Great. While Tiffany's fixing that, may I ask everyone that
Oh,
wants, so every time we have this event, I post a summary in LinkedIn. I tag the ICF Houston chapter into it so you can see it, share whatever you want. If you're connected to me, you can see it as well. So if you want to be on that post, feel free to put your camera on, a big smile, and I will tell you exactly when I take that picture. Look at Lori. And Tiffany, I sent you a connection request so we can be connected. So
great.
everybody ready? Smile.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent.
I got everybody's eyes
All right.
open. Yes, and everybody smiles. Perfect. Got it. Tiffany, thank you so much. This was so helpful. I learned a lot. I
Oh,
think
good. I'm glad.
all of us learned a lot from you, and I can't wait to start, playing with these agents and create my bench. Not to the point where Gabby was, but but we will definitely invite you back if that's okay. I think we
Absolutely. Anytime.
Great. Thank you for your time. And thank you,
No
everyone, for
problem.
attending
Thank
and
you.
participating. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Elena.
Thank you,
Thank
Bye.
Elena.
you.
See ya.
Bye. Oh,
All right.
Tiffany, I love your admin,
Thanks.
your executive assistant.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
you're
it's
so
super. Yeah, she's great.